Mr. President, Senate Committee Substitute 1 to Senate Bill 172 is a very simple bill. And it's a bill that provides the Public Service Commission with a tool to mitigate some of the spikes and the peaks and valleys and the spikes of the fuel adjustment surcharge that many of us are likely to see on our upcoming electric bills and electric bills in the future. As you know, under current Kentucky law, when a utility has to expend additional money, they are entitled to recover that money through a fuel adjustment clause, and that is a surcharge on a regular electric bill. What Senate Committee Substitute 1 to Senate Bill 172 does is it allows the PSC, upon application of that utility, to spread that cost out over time. And this particularly helps folks on a fixed income because instead of a $100 surcharge, that surcharge can be spread out over 6, 10, and 12 months in an affordable fashion so that these bills are levelized and we do not see, these extreme surcharges that puts, again, people on fixed incomes in a bad position. It's unfortunate we have to be in this situation. I've in discussions with some utilities, both investor-owned utilities and cooperative utilities. During this recent cold spell, gas prices spiked from an average of $5 to $6 an MCF up to $80 to as high as $150 an MCF. These prices are going to be passed on to the consumers, and it's going to create pain. So not only, I'm not going to sit here today and tell you that this is a silver bullet. Energy prices are a problem. And they're a problem that has mainly been brought on by bad policies out of Washington, D.C. that have placed us in an energy economy with not enough supply, increasing demand, and essentially making one of our cheapest baseload fuels illegal. When the war on coal started approximately 15 years ago, Kentucky, and particularly eastern Kentucky, had some of the lowest power rates in the United States of America. And yet, as we have seen that war progress, we have seen prices increase and increase and increase and increase. Not only has that economically devastated my home and forced thousands of people out of work, it has made the lives of the people who have been left behind more difficult and more difficult. Mr. President, we hear the talk of affordability all the time, but we don't hear any talk out of Washington about real solutions to America's energy problems that are going to address affordability. We hear about a Green New Deal. As I said in committee, the only thing green about the Green New Deal for my constituents is the money that it's pulled out of their pockets in increased power bills, unemployment checks, and lost jobs. Mr. President, I want to thank this body for putting this bill on fast track. These electric bills will be coming out for the most part at the end of this month. And in coordination with this body in the House, we're hoping to get this tool to the PSC so that we can mitigate these fuel spikes and help people who are desperate and in need. Again, this is not going to be a silver bullet. I don't want the people looking at home to think this is going to cut your power bill in half. But it's an effort that we can make on a state level while the folks in Washington are trying to figure this out in a way for Main Street and not just for Wall Street. Mr. President, with that being said, I would move for passage of Senate Bill 72 as amended by Senate Committee Substitute 1.